Hello guys, thank you for saving some time to watch this video. I'm here with Ali and we're probably gonna see what we are doing, what is our job at Hoplon over here. We will talk a little bit more about the combat test and share some details with you. Let's start by speaking when.
The combat test, our plan is to start the combat test next Wednesday, like February 14. We plan on test that version of the game and give an answer to the community about the future after February 21.
So you are saying that it's going to start in February 14 and February 21 we're going to receive an update about what is going to be the next steps based on these results, right?
Yes, we are planning on acquire data from matches from the community all of those days, like from 14 to 21. And then with that data, we will analyze everything and then decide what to do about other things from there.
Okay, so for the people that did not watch the first video, let's explain to them what is the combat test.
So the combat test is a version of the game where we increase the lethality, we made the combat, the pacing of the combat, we increase it to be faster. And we've done that based on data from the last year, all year, like all the data compiled, we analyzed the data, and the last 3 months we've been working on the combat test to make it better for you guys based on the data, based on feedback from the community, and based on our feeling from about what the game, where the game needs to go. So that's a version that resumes that everything, and we will give it to you guys to test for some days.
So Ali, now we understand what's gonna be the combat test, but what the player can expect when he load the game, what he will see?
We have a special background for the combat test that while the test is running, that background will tell you.
Mention combat test.
Yes, that we are in combat test. There is also a button for you to know more about what we are testing and how to give us feedback and everything like that. And after the match, we have the button for you to access the form to deliver you your personal feedback about what happened to you in the match, how was it to play with a character and everything like that.
So that part is very important. So it will be very nice if the community get engaged by answer as much as possible the test, right? So in the end of each match, they will be able to provide their opinion, right?
Yes, that's the best way to have your voice heard by us, because we will be reading each one of those forms and using that to guide the next steps of the project.
That's awesome. Who is going to be able to test?
Everyone, basically. We are switching the version of the game, so our main focus, our focus is on anyone who wants to play on that weekend. Everyone who wants to give us feedback is it's welcome and it's appreciated, because we need a lot of data to work with. So basically we will switch to the combat test version, and the other version will be stopped or paused from that time, and everyone will be playing in the combat test, and we will be acquiring data, and we will have a form for you guys to give us personal feedback, and we will also analyze data from the matches numbers to decide.
This is a great opportunity to invite your friends, ask them to test the game and give us the feedback. Your feedback, it will be very important for us. Actually, it's going to be one of our points that we're going to analyze, right? That's two main points that we're going to check.
Yes.
So to judge if the changes that we made, it was okay, we're going to use two specific points, right?
Yes.
One, it's the forms that are going to be replied by the community, and the second one
is the data we acquire from the matches itself, like our BI, or business intelligence, or the numbers, everything that comes from the matches, like match duration, the number of destructions, the number of the time it took to make points, everything we will crunch it down in our
we're going to cross with feedback from the community.
Yes, and we will put it on graphics and analyze it and
oh my God, a lot of work on that. Yes. So it is important also to share the community that this change that we're going to test, it's not like gonna stay in the game forever. That's depend the results. If something doesn't go according to what we plan, we're gonna be able to move it and even get back to the old version, right?
Yes, we plan on acquiring feedback as much as possible and then analyze if the game went to a better place, and after that decide what to keep, and then in what to change, what to keep, and keep on evolving on the same path, on a better path.
Okay, that's also. So share a little bit more. What change we're gonna check?
In this version, we focused on changing 4 characters, 4 vehicles,
Okay.
and some core mechanics of the game, like match duration. We are working with the overtime feature.
We're gonna check that part. You say something very interesting, and I believe that community would like to hear a little bit more about it. So you say that we're gonna have 4 vehicles, right?
Yes.
So give us a tip. Actually, don't give it tips anymore. Say which one goes.
So
which one?
we will be changing, testing changes to Artificer, Wildfire, Little Monster, and Stingray.
So what's gonna happen with these 4?
Every one of those will have their weapons like tweaked, reworked, or just balanced, depending on each one. Yes.
So don't worry, we're not gonna say all this change individual, but we're gonna make the information available for you guys. So in somewhere in this space, it will have a link, and you're gonna be able to check at our blog the specific change that was made, even the numbers.
Yes.
This kind of detail we would like to provide for you. So 4 characters. What will happen with the others? What's your plan?
The other characters will also be balanced and reworked, but we try to focus on delivering a first test to the community as fast as possible and rework every one of the 13 characters or vehicles would take a lot of time. So we wanted to make the test as fast as possible, to acquire feedback as fast as possible, and also to help us to help guide the changes and the reworks on the next characters. That everything will help us like drive the other reworks and changes and balances for the other characters. Like this contest will guide us.
And but it's not enough. We need a little bit more details. Tell us about Artificer. What is your plan?
Our main plan with Artificer is allow the player to do more in the game. We felt that her role was a bit narrow. Like you ended up playing her the same every match. So we are trying to open up positions for her. She also is more capable of destruction right now, and for example, we took her first weapon, the repair beam, and we changed it to be active all the time. You don't need to press any button anymore, and we gave another weapon for her in its place. So she's gonna be more active in the match instead of being only like a parasite attached to another person. And we hope that opens up more gameplay options to the players who wish to play with her.
Oh, we have more Twitch to ask for you, so don't run away.
Okay.
And you too, keep on watching us because we're gonna talk about Little Monster right now, and I'm particularly interested in that one.
Okay.
So what's gonna change on her?
The main focus on Little Monster was like making her passive, or the advantage she has, feel like more what we wanted to do at first. We want her to feel like a monster, like she's the Godzilla of our game. And she did not feel quite right in the last version, because the first thing we did to her in the past was make her trample people. She could run over them. But running over people felt like she was light, she was not heavy enough for a monster truck. So right now we are working the way her advantage works. Instead of just trampling everyone and ignoring collisions, she will more like carry everyone with her, like she is a very big, heavy thing.
Big
moving
girl.
on. Yes.
Okay. And about Stingray, what we can expect?
The changes to Stingray were simple. We just wanted to make sure his special weapon was more impactful and also allowed for big gameplay moments, but with high risk and high reward. So we changed his first and second weapon to be more like longer range weapons, or you do not need to be in combat, like attached to the enemy to cause damage. That was something that we wanted to do with the interceptors, allow them more space to play a little bit far away from the carrier. And his ultimate became a weapon that will be fun to use. Like, it will be a window of awesomeness when you use it. But it's very easy to miss, but when you hit, you will like do a lot of things.
Oh, and the last one that is also important, Wildfire. So it's important because he's the character that we get in touch with the first time that we play Heavy Metal Machine. So what you did on that?
Always in our mind that she's the main character of what the players see when they come to the game. So he worked her to be like easier to understand. For example, she had the first weapon that was an overtime weapon. You had to hold your finger in the button to cause damage over time. And we saw that it was complicated for new players, very complicated. We had tests inside and also the numbers from outside. We watched people play. Like we said, we like spy you guys playing, and we chose to simplify the way she plays, but also make her more rewarding. So the main thing we did to her is change the first and the second weapons from places. Like, you will be firing more fireballs right now, and she feels like a dragon. You know, she stays far away firing fireballs, and when she sees that the enemy is vulnerable, she sweeps in, explodes with area damage and comes out. That's a little different way to play than she was in the last version, and also easier to understand.
And which one of all these changes in characters is your favorite now?
Right
I
now,
did not ask you that. It's a surprise. Come on, tell me.
The character I played the most here in the test inside was Little Monster, probably.
Which don't supposed to say that,
yes.
But we just did it, okay.
It's fun too, like, she's so heavy and now we have collision with allies. So I don't like when people don't play for the objective of the game. Some people like try to hunt for kills and all that stuff. So when someone in my team is playing the way I don't want to, I just go there and push him to where I want him to go because I'm heavier.
So now you are giving a little bit tips on the community.
Yes,
Okay.
I can help players play right now. Oh, come on over here.
That's good. So we explain, I believe that we explain why we select only 4 cards for now on, right?
Yes.
So the main reason for that, it's also to save time, you know, to check if the changes that we made, it was a good one before change all of it, right?
Yes.
And why these 4? Why not Rampage,
basically because...
Or Killer J, I don't know, I heard Killer J.
Killer J it's another topic. It's like we need more time to think about him. But the first 4 we choose was because our numbers told us that they were the most player characters of the game. So as we want to affect the most people we can, we chose the 4 characters that were most played, the top played characters, because this way we are sure that the masses that play Heavy Metal Machines will keep on playing without any trouble, you know, because we don't know exactly why the other characters were not picked that much, but we can trust in the numbers, and the numbers said to us that those 4 are the most played, so they are the safest bets for us to work on.
So guys, in this case, just for you to understand, when Ali are explaining about the numbers, we have BI team, we have a lot of data. They say, for example, how many hours each character was playing for each player, for how number of matches, and and all the stuffs.
Numbers of destruction, number of
exactly,
kills,
a lot
assists,
of numbers.
everything, every character has.
And the reason that I'm explaining all that is because sometimes you can feel like, oh, but my friends did not play with these four, for example. But this data, it's all the countries actually, so
Yes.
it's not one place or one group only.
Yeah.
And you say also collision about allies, right?
Yes. Collision with allies is coming back for now. So we are testing. We started to test it inside and we want to test it with the community outside. The main reason we removed the collision with allies in the past was because our controllers weren't fine-tuned yet. But right now we feel like the controllers are in a very, very good place. So we try to start it inside to test if collision with allies could work in the game right now. The good things that collision with allies does for the game is that everyone understands without anyone needing to explain to them, because you expect to collide with your allies. It's how the world works. And when you can go through allies, we need to explain that a bit to the player. So the new player we hope the new player feels a bit more comfortable with those changes. And also the teams that train more will get more advantage from coordination.
So both situations, it's a win,
yeah,
right?
It's a win for the new player, and
exactly.
we hope it's a win for the pro player also, that trains and expends a lot of time in our game.
Okay, let's do the bomb right now. I would say let's put in the edge, but this time let's talk about the bomb. So what else? I feel like have like 2-3 changes in the bomb.
The main thing we are working on the bomb is allowing players to the passing, the throwing of the bomb feel more intuitive. We did not change the physics too much, but we are allowing the bomb to get speed faster or in a shorter time. So basically, when you are carrying the bomb, it will always be available for throwing, but this does not remove the necessity to aim it, to spin it and aim it where you want it to go. It just makes it more intuitive to remove the arbitrary time we had before, like, oh, you have to wait 1.75 seconds to throw it, and it was very hard to understand for the newcomers.
But when you say that's gonna become more intuitive, you does not mean that it's gonna be more easy.
No,
that will remove the challenge.
Probably it might become more harder, because if you aim it, if you aim it poorly, it might hit your own car. Because right now the bomb can be thrown only if you were spinning after some time. In the combat test, we made it so you can throw it every time. The frontal speed of the car also speeds up the bomb. However, if you release it earlier, it will hit your own car on the release. So it might be harder to throw it in the end.
So doesn't mean that's gonna be
yeah,
easy.
it's
That's
just
good.
easier to understand, doesn't mean easier to master the throwing.
And still talking about gameplay, Respawn also have some change, right?
Yes, we changed
What you
it.
can expect from that?
We wanted to make the respawn timer and mechanics work on every arena, and as we plan to release more arenas in the future, we need a mechanic that could work in any layout. And right now we know that Metal Gods and Temple of Sacrifice feel very different when respawning. So we worked on a way to shorter the timing that you need to reach the bomb, basically by allowing you to choose where you want to respawn. After you are destroyed, the camera will move to keep up with the bomb, and then after your reconstruction, you will be able to choose a place to respawn and like fall from the sky like a meteor and destroy everyone that stays under you. Something like that.
You seem very excited about those changes, right?
That's the most acclaimed change we made here inside. Everyone liked that.
Oh.
Especially the guys who dialogue.
Yeah,
because
we talk about that in the first video, and there's other point that we have some surprise, and we heard some reaction from the community. It will be my next topic, actually, about the grid position mini game. So in the first video that we made, We heard some comments, some concerns from the community. So what you can tell us?
So the two main topics that were discussed was the grid positioning and the start minigame, right?
Correct.
So what we plan to do is in these tests, in the casual mode, the main mode of the game right now, we plan on automatizing those games to open space for players that did not understand the game yet, do not feel like bad about missing timings or choosing a wrong position and not being able to change it after that because he did not know what to choose, and the community, the other players, the players who know are not always so welcoming or not always so like good with the player that misses a choice.
So this is a tension point for us. So you can see we also recognize that sometimes the behavior of the community with new players could even influence a change in the game. So that's important to have a healthy community.
Yes, that's half of the time choices we made in balance and game mechanics are affected by how players play with other players. That's the main reason we did that, was to help smooth the entrance of players in the casual mode, but we have plans on keeping those games and keeping the grid position for the custom match and everything like that. We will build up more options in the custom match for you to activate or deactivate anything you want. But right now we are focusing on the characters, the vehicles, and after that we will focus on those sides of the game.
So what about upgrades in game shop?
The in-game shop, the upgrade shop, we after last year we made a lot of analysis about it and how it impacts our game. And for this test and for the rework of other characters, we chose to make it to streamline the upgrades of the game. Basically, we are choosing everything that worked and applying it as a baseline to every vehicle, and what did not work, we will for now we will phrase it and test it without the shop inside the game, without the
basically we're
workshop.
gonna remove it.
Yes, basically.
Okay, so guys, if you watch so far, we are almost in the end. I think it's gonna be the last one actually.
Okay.
Do you know which one is missing? I got you, right? Overtime, man. So what we can expect about overtime?
That's another point that we analyzed last year, that as the longer matches tended to like frustrate the majority of the players. We know that we have players that like longer matches, that's not a problem, but overall the majority of our players got frustrated as the matches progressed past a certain point. So we worked last month on a way to allow matches to continue indefinitely. However, a way to make points easier to make.
Does not mean that it's gonna end in 3 minutes. It's gonna be like the round could be infinite.
Yes, right now after 3 minutes, the positions of the goals, the point lines, start to change. They approach the center of the arena to make the space closer, but the game will never be over by itself. Someone has to do a point, and also the position of the lines, they stop at a time. We allow the center of the arenas to be a battle point in the end. So the game will progress for as long as the match is even, but we accelerate the progression of the game past a certain point of time. However, it will never end by its own.
So besides everything that we explained so far, that will be a few functionalities that's not gonna be available anymore, right?
Yes.
So which one it is?
During the period of testing, like a minimum period of 14 February to 21 February, we will disable the model shop, the skins, we will disable them for us to be able to focus only on the numbers of the match. We will also disable the characters, the vehicles that are not being tested for that period, and we will we will shut down the tournaments for that period also, because it doesn't make sense to to do tournaments while changing the game that much and testing it at the same time. Tournaments are something that we want to do right, and when we do it right, it's because people had time to train and time to invest their skills in the tournament.
Should be fair, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what else? Also on Steam Store, we will have some changes, right?
The Steam Store, we will be disable the DLCs for the time.
Yeah, exactly.
A minimum time of 14 to 21, but depending on how the test goes and what we need to do that before, we will give you guys feedback from after that date.
And just to be clear, everyone that invested their money and trust in us to have a founder's pack and to purchase skins, don't worry, after the test, everything that you have so far will be available for you, so you don't need to worry about that. And also we need to talk about the fame
And the experience of the card. Those will be enabled for the whole period of the test. So if you play it, you will your fame and experience, and after the test is over, you will be able to spend fame on anything you want, as normal.
So, a lot of stuff. So thank you guys for watching us. I'm sorry that it's not a quick video because it's not a short test. There was a lot of change that we'd like to explain for you. Feel free to give us opinion, and we'll have a chance, you guys will have a chance to each match to give us your opinion. Please use that right. Tell us what you feel in each match, and if you had a chance, invite your friends, other persons that used to play heavy metal machines and stopped it somehow. Come on, give it a shot, see what is the new gameplay, and feel comfortable to give us some ideas, suggestions. We are open to do that. February 14 it will start, and then we're gonna have a new feedback in February 31, so keep on watching us. Thank you guys.